So in today's video, we're going to cover this Genesis multi-cart that contains an SD card, assuming full of a bunch of games. If I remember the description correctly, I think I had like 800. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it into the Mega Retro and HD that I reviewed a little while back, see what's on there, see how it works. We'll take the SD card out and I'll take a look at it on the computer and see what's on there and if I can add stuff to it. And then we'll take it apart and see what the insides look like. So if you remember the pickups video that I got this in, I think it was September, maybe October, I don't really remember. You might recall that it has a SD card slot, micro SD card. It's got a little button on top too. I'm not sure what that's for. We'll have to play around with that. Label isn't on perfectly, but whatever. Otherwise, the cartridge looks like it's in good shape. It's kind of tough to tell, maybe, this angle, but the cartridge connector itself, the edge connector, is slightly beveled, which is good because you don't want straight edges on your cartridges because it can damage, if not completely ruin, your cartridge slot on your consoles. And then just, typical stuff in the back. So yeah, let's fire up the console and see what's on here. So here we have my patented janky setup. So let's see what we've got on here. And I'm going to be using the Hyperkin controller today, because I haven't used it yet. I realized that I didn't even test it during the Hyperkin review. So we've got a little bit of a menu system here. Kind of interesting. I'm going to have to see if this is based off of anything or not. Let's look at Toolbox. SRAM. Oh, interesting. Device info. Interesting. CD-ROM, no. I wonder if this can emulate a Sega CD. Well, I have to find out. SPI speed test, not sure what this is. Uh-oh. Error 50, not sure what that means. Update OS and about. So this is based on the EverDrive. Interesting. I don't believe this is an actual EverDrive. But I do know that they, Crix, as you can see listed there in the About screen, I believe he added Sega CD support, Mega CD support to his cartridge in response to the Mega SD having that ability. But actually, that might have been part of it might be the EverDrive Pro. I'm going to have to look into this because this might be even more of a pirate cartridge than just all the ROMs that are on there. Cheats, of course, Game Genie, so that's kind of cool. Options, hard reset on, Genie 3 mode. I'm guessing that's the Genesis Model 3 mode. Maybe there's some compatibility issues with it. Not sure. Region free is kind of good to know. Select game. Let's see what we've got on here. Error 50 again. Play game. There's something on here. Is this Mortal Kombat? No. Alien 3. Well, we know it's got Alien 3 on here. Really wish I could get the rest of the games to load, but... Okay. So apparently the A button doesn't do anything. I don't know if there's a way to reset or not, so I'm going to reset the console and see if I can't get some games to load. It's also possible that it just doesn't work right on this, and I might have to try the original Genesis. Look at that. It goes straight to a game again. Let me power off and see what we can do. Okay. There we go. So now it's reading the SD card correctly. Got different menus, and then just... Look at all of this stuff here. What is all of this? SMS games list. EDMD. Okay, that's the save directory. Sega Master System games. Interesting. There's a lot on here. Yeah, like all these other multi-carts, this is not sanctioned by any official company. These are almost definitely just pulled off the internet and dumped on here. But just based on what I'm seeing on here, it's already kind of worth the money. I got to look back and see how much I paid for it, but just the fact that it has all of this on here is kind of impressive. Let's try Master System Sonic. Okay, so it erases the ROM, copies the ROM file to... Okay, so that's how it works. Ooh, the color's not right. But I think I've heard about some of these cartridges having a problem like this with Master System games. And it could also just be the retro end system itself not having proper Master System support. But the fact that it works at all is kind of impressive. And because I don't actually have a power-based converter, I don't have an actual start button to pause, so I'll have to turn this system off and back on again. Hope it doesn't break anything. Okay, we're back at the main menu here. Let's look at some actual Genesis games. Definitely got quite a bit on here. No, I can't try that one because it actually has copyrighted music on there, even though it's not the originals. A Sega channel ROM? That's interesting. Super Street Fighter 2. Okay, so yeah, so it erases the EEPROM, copies the ROM file up to it, and then that's how it works. Okay, interesting. So this is some sort of EverDrive clone. I'm gonna have to look more into that because that's kind of sad that, you know, the people are cloning the EverDrive, because the EverDrive is a really good multi-cart to get, and I know Crix has spent a lot of time and effort developing it and the firmware, so it's taking its time erasing this time. Oh, there we go. So this must be based on an earlier version of the EverDrive, because I do believe that the earlier version of EverDrive was a little slower loading ROMs and everything. He's since made improvements, so we might have to fast forward through this whole process. So finally loaded, but I just get this screen here, so let's hit reset and see what happens. Okay, so that's not working. I'll try the second list of games. This one's copying a little faster, so it's possible the other ROM was corrupt. Or maybe the EEPROM wasn't wiped correctly. Hard to say. Okay, this one's working, so it's just probably a bad ROM file. I'm not even going to attempt to save anything because I don't want to risk potentially corrupting it further until I do a little more research. But this cartridge has a lot of games on it, so from that standpoint, there's definitely value in it. But again, just like everything else, you know, these aren't legit, so... And I seriously doubt you're going to get any kind of support or anything from the company, especially since not only are they putting a bunch of ROMs on here, but they're pirating an actual legit multi-cart, so... But, I mean, otherwise, everything seems to work just fine. So, let's take it apart, see what the guts look like inside, and I'm also going to do some research on this cartridge to see what's going on with it. It's also entirely possible that it is an actual EverDrive that they just relabeled, you know, first gen, that they got them cheap or something, I'm not sure. Doubt it, but I want to take a look and see what we've got on here. So, let's open this guy up. So I'm not going to do a dual camera setup for this since it's going to just be a simple cartridge. Oh, it does not open. Is there an additional screw somewhere? I don't feel one. Oh, there we go. So, looking at the back here, there's a Ramron chip. I'll have to look that up and see what that actually is, as well as some voltage regulator capacitors. And then on this side here, there's an Altera FPGA core, as well as an ST Micro. I'm guessing that's the EEPROM. So either this is a clone of an EverDrive, or this might actually be one, although again, I don't see a whole lot of circuitry on here, so more than likely this is a cheap clone, especially since I don't see any copyright information, and I'm pretty sure the official one has that. There is a serial number on here I'm going to have to look up, take a look and see what that is. Yeah, so I'm going to do a little research, and we'll be back, and we'll also take a look at the SD card itself. So I took a look at the SD card, and I'll show you what I found on there on screen now, but before I do that, it comes with a quote-unquote SanDisk micro SD card, 8 gig, class 4 apparently, made in China, and it's got this sticker that says, you know, something in Chinese, and it's 2020, so it's probably not even a legitimate SanDisk card. But yeah, this is definitely an EverDrive clone. I'll post some links to information about it from various sources, including Crix's own website. He's got a nice little chart that shows the different features of the two, showing that, you know, his does this, this doesn't do that, all of that fun stuff. But the EverDrive in general, even in the clone, gives you the ability to load different Sega CD BIOS, including Mega CD BIOS from either a PAL region or Japan, which would then allow you to play those region games using an actual Sega CD, because this card and the official one will not support Sega CD games. I believe you need an EverDrive Pro for that. But yeah, so it's a little sketchy. Some people have tried updating the firmware on here with the official Crix firmware. Some have had success, others found out that it bricks it on intentionally. I'll try to post some screenshots of an actual EverDrive cartridge internals as well, if I didn't already do that earlier in this video. But this is probably the sketchiest out of all the clone carts that I've picked up. It's one that's probably never going to touch an actual Genesis. If I ever want to play it, I'm going to just play it on the Mega Retro in HD, because I really don't want to risk anything. So there's different variants of this, and I would not recommend this one at all. I did find out that this is more than likely an SMS pause button. So if you play a Master System game, you can hit this to actually pause it, because you cannot do that through an actual Genesis controller. But yeah, thumbs down unfortunately on this one. It's possible this one is perfectly fine, but I can't chance it and I can't risk it, so I do not recommend it. I mean, if you want to pick it up, I think I paid 20 bucks for it, so if you want to go ahead and pick one up off of eBay or AliExpress or whatever for a novelty thing, go for it. But yeah, so that's that. 1 out of 5 stars if you want some kind of rating like that. But if you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. But as always, please leave a comment as to why, so I can try to make improvements going forward. Otherwise, I'll catch y'all later.